Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Perth East Council this 20th day of May. I'll call our meeting to order. If everyone could please bow their head for a moment of reflection. Thank you. We have a motion. This public meeting is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by Southside Estates, Inc., care of Ron Martin, Plan 363, Part Lot 88, RP 44R 6235, Part 1, 17 Cobalt Street, North Milverton. This meeting is an opportunity for the township to advise the public of the purpose and intent of the amendment and receive their input prior to considering adoption of an implementing bylaw. If a bylaw is adopted to implement the zoning amendment, a notice of passing will be forwarded by prepaid first-class mail to various agencies of interest and others who have requested notice. An appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal objecting to the adoption of the bylaw may be e-filed via the OLT e-file service no later than the date stated on the notice. Any persons attending this meeting who wishes to receive written notice of a bylaw passed to implement the amendment is asked to give their name and mailing address to the clerk following this meeting. No written notice, except as previously noted, will be given unless requested in writing following the meeting. All persons attending this meeting will be given an opportunity to be heard or make a presentation. I will now call on our planner, Aubrey Erickson, to present the planning report and recommendations. So, welcome, Aubrey. Good to see you, and the floor is yours.
Zoning bylaw amendment application ZN 5-2026 has been submitted by Zaid Kashif Al Gata of K Smart Associates on behalf of Southside Estates for the lands municipally known as 17 Cobalt Street North. The applicant is proposing to rezone the subject lands from residential zone 1 to residential zone 3. The zone change will permit the construction of a 6-unit street fronting townhouse development. The subject lands are designated neighborhood in the Perth County Official Plan and zoned residential zone 1 in the Perth East zoning bylaw. The subject lands are currently vacant, but are surrounded by existing and planned residential and Greenwood Park and Cemetery. The Provincial Planning Statement 2024 states that settlement areas shall be the focus and growth of development. Both the PPS and official plans support efficient land use through the intensification in settlement areas. Milverton is a serviced urban area, and intensification is achieved through a compact built form, meaning more units per lot. The zone change from R1 to R3 allows for a gentle shift to a medium density form of housing. The proposed development meets the intent of the Perth County Official Plan, as the development makes use of existing municipal services. The proposal is compatible with and adjacent to existing built-up areas in Milverton and has access on an existing local road. The proposal expands the range of available housing options and provides an increase to the serviced urban area density. The R3 zone permits townhouses. This application requires site-specific provisions to build the 6-unit street fronting townhouse. These provisions are so that each unit will be separately conveyable through part lot control in the future. Public notice was provided to the neighboring property owners on April 27th, and there were no public concerns and no agency comments or concerns regarding the application. Staff are supportive of the application as proposed, and it is the opinion of staff that the zoning bylaw amendment is consistent with the provincial planning statement and conforms with the Perth County Official Plan. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Seeing no one, does the applicant or the applicant's agent wish to speak or make comments? You come to the desk, please. Tell us who you are.
Good evening, Mayor, Councilors. My name is Zaid Kashif Al Gata from K Smart Associates. I'm the agent for the applicant Southside Estates, here in support of the application before you at 17 Cobalt Street North. I want to thank you all for the opportunity to come and speak in support of this application. We're in agreement with staff, with the staff report and staff recommendations. I wanted to say, even though we are requesting relief from a couple of provisions of the R3 zoning, we've worked continuously with township staff to ensure that from a planning and engineering perspective, that the proposal is viable and functional and represents good planning. The applicant, Ronald Martin of Southside Estates, is also present here. And he has got a track record of building similar developments in Milverton. Namely, there's one townhouse of a similar footprint on Murray Court at the south end of town that he has built as well. So I wanted to mention that as well, and I'm available to answer any questions as needed.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions from members of council? Jerry?
Yeah, thanks, through you, Mayor. I'm not sure who can answer it. I assume these are all to purchase, all units to purchase. I know we have said this a number of times, we were still lacking within the Milverton boundary, as Perth East as well, as some rental units for our seniors that are coming off farms that have retired, but I'm fully in support of this, but to answer the question, they're to purchase.
So through the mayor, yes. So the proposal shows each unit to be split into a separate lot for sale.
Okay, other, Hugh?
Just a quick question, like the lot approval for the lot line was 6 meters down to 2 meters. Does that still allow for you to get behind those buildings if you need? Like, I know they have many excavators and stuff like that, but 2 meters isn't very far, so it's acceptable that you can get machinery back behind there if you whatever needed.
So through the mayor, thank you for that question. This has been kind of the subject of kind of work with township staff on making sure that between the drainage swale that is proposed and the access aisle and the boundary to the building, that we've got enough access, and township staff have gone back and forth with us on this, and we've arrived at a result that has kind of satisfied their requirements.
Okay, Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm looking at page P100. I couldn't zoom it far enough to keep it clear for the servicing. Can we get a little quick overview possibly on where the nearest connection for water, sewer, and stormwater is, and how that's going to work with this project?
So through the mayor, we've had our engineering staff prepare the servicing grading plan to kind of illustrate this. The servicing along the line, the Cobalt Street line, have already been approved and built, and it's just a matter of connecting connecting each unit individually. And so our servicing plan kind of shows that you've got individual connections to each unit through here, and that has been sent in with the zone change application. I'm not an engineer, but this has gone back and forth with township staff, and we've arrived again at a result that it meets requirements.
And the proponent's picking up this cost.
Yes.
And so the closest connection point is it right at the boundary of the proposed development, or is it down the street? Is it in the field?
So it's that the line there, and I can't see very clearly, but there's that line there going down Cobalt Street that has already been implemented. So it would just be a matter of connecting each individual unit across and into that main line.
Perfect, thank you.
Other questions, Bob?
Sure. My question to Aubrey, and it's about the contentious issue of parking in Milverton. Recent development that probably doesn't have enough parking, and concern from the citizens the parking on the street. So this says the parking in tandem is appropriate. So just want to make sure that the school and the newly built child care facility, that there would be no parking on the street, and that, as the report says, there's adequate parking for each unit.
Through you, Mayor Eggetts. Yes, so this was reviewed and the parking was allowed to be in tandem such that it can sit like this, basically, is what it'll look like. And it meets the parking requirements under the zoning bylaw.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing no more questions, council will consider a resolution regarding the planning report recommendation following the conclusion of the public meeting. Bylaw 205-2026 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later within the council agenda. Okay, now we'll move to our second public meeting. This public meeting is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by Reuben and Sarah Weber, Concession 9 East Part Lot 3 and RP 44R 3497 Part 15 7376 Road 136. I think the preamble is all the same. We're going to jump right down to Aubrey. Oh. Nope, Jeff is.
Thank you. Yes, I'll deal
Sorry,
with this
I
one.
wondered
if
why
that's
she
okay.
got up and left. Okay, Jeff, welcome. Good to see you, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So the property is located on the northwest corner of the intersection of line 76 and Road 136. It's municipally known as 7376 Road 136. The lands are designated as agriculture in the official plan and zoned as agricultural zone A-151. The existing agricultural special zone allows for minimum front yard depth of 20 meters to the existing shed, which is being used for the secondary farm occupation. The applicant is proposing to rezone the property to an amended A-151 zone, which would facilitate the expansion of existing on-farm diversified use by increasing the maximum gross floor area from 372 square meters to a maximum of 700 square meters, and to reduce the minimum number of parking spaces from 18 spaces to 2. The site-specific zoning is intended to permit the expansion of that existing glass manufacturing business with a 305 square meter building addition. At the time of writing this report, no comments or concerns have been received from public agencies or from the public. The proposed zone change allows for the expansion of that on-farm diversified use that would be located within the existing farm cluster. It will share existing services and driveway access to Road 136. The building expansion will be connected to the existing business and predominantly located on uncultivated lands. The use is established glass manufacturing business within that existing building. Applicant is proposing to expand that business to accommodate the glass tempering machine, which eliminates their need for the business to ship product to and from the Toronto area. The expansion does not impact the ability of the owner to continue farming on the property, and the increased size of business operation is appropriately sized, where it would not result in traffic impacts on the surrounding roads or negatively impact adjacent farm operations. Area of development will be subject to site plan control, which requires the owner to submit detailed drawings that include the building location, access, servicing, parking, grading, and drainage plans. Perthes zoning bylaw allows for trade occupations as a secondary farm occupation. Increased size of the proposed use will continue to be secondary to the principal use of the farm and will be accessed by the existing farm driveway. Applicant has noted that the business has been in operating for more than 20 years, and note that their business operation is lower visitation that does not generate significant traffic that requires additional parking on the lands. The business is operating by the family residing on the property. It does not have any external employees. The owners do utilize horses for their transportation needs, and meeting the zoning bylaw requirement would likely result in the loss of productive farmland. Existing A-151 zone does have a special provision on there with a minimum front yard setback of 20 meters to the existing shed. The front yard is actually located on the other side road. So our intention is to clean up the zoning bylaw to still allow them that 20-meter setback, but it would actually be to the exterior side yard setback, which is located on Road 136. Planning staff have no concerns with the zoning change amendment. The proposed amendment allows for the on-farm diversified use, which is compatible with the surrounding area. It is consistent with the provincial planning statement, conforms with the official plan, and in our opinion, represents good planning. And I'm available to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Seeing no one, does the applicant or the applicant agent wish to make a presentation or speak with respect to the application?
Good evening, Council. Scott Patterson from Patterson Planning Consultants. Here tonight in support of the application before you. The landowner is here as well with members of his family. As noted, this business has been in that location since 2005. The purpose of the building expansion is to house a tempering machine for hardening of glass. Currently, all of that work is done off-site, and they're having quality control issues as well as incurring costs for a lot of trucking. So the purpose of this is to house that extra piece of equipment and allow them quality control on site. As always, Jeff has spoken to everything that probably I could speak to. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But yes, you're in full support of the staff report and recommendations.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from members of council? Andrew?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm wondering, with glass production, is there any environmental concerns that have been looked at or that need to be addressed? It's a new process is why I'm asking. It's different. It sounds like it's different. So is heating up the glass, is there any fumes? Is there anything waste that will need to be looked at or has been looked at?
Through your worship, to the best of my knowledge, no. The heating process is done through electricity. So that it's just a heating process. It's not actually creating the glass, it's just hardening the glass.
Oh,
So I'm not aware of any environmental concerns. The glass will still come to the site. It's just a process of treating it before they actually use it for the final production.
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, council will consider a resolution regarding the plan and report recommendation following the conclusion of the public meeting and bylaw 206-2026 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later within the council agenda. Okay, now we're going to turn to our third public meeting, and this is being held to consider a proposed zoning bylaw amendment affecting property currently owned by Keith and Marjorie Brickman, concession 7, West Part Lot 24, 4942, line 42. The preamble is the same. We're jumping right down to Aubrey. So Aubrey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Agates. Zoning bylaw amendment application ZN 7-2026 has been submitted by Matthew Orchard on behalf of Keith and Marjorie Brickman for the lands municipally known as 4942 to 4956, line 42. The applicant is proposing to rezone both the severed and retained lands to satisfy the conditions of consent application B01-26, which was given conditional approval March 26, 2026. The severed residential lands are proposed to be zoned A1 to permit the existing single detached dwelling lot and associated accessory uses, and the retained lands are proposed to be zoned A-5 subscript 1 to prohibit the construction of any dwelling or mobile home and to recognize the retained lands as an undersized agricultural parcel. The nature of the proposed residential lot and the prohibition of residential dwellings on the retained agricultural lands align with the Provincial Planning Statement 2024 and the Perth County regulations. Planning staff are supportive of the zone change application, and approval of the application is recommended. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in opposition of the application? Seeing no one, is there anyone present who wishes to make a presentation or speak in support of the application other than the applicant or the applicant's agent? Seeing no one, does the applicant or the applicant agent wish to make a presentation or speak with respect to the application? No. Are there any questions from members of council? The council will consider a resolution regarding the planning report recommendation following the conclusion of the public meeting. Bylaw 207-2026 to implement the approval of the zoning application will be considered later within the council agenda. The public meeting is now concluded, and we will continue with the regular meeting of council. Excuse me. So the first, we're going back to the first public meeting, and that was Southside Estates. So we have a motion that says that Council of the Township of Perth East received the report dated May 20th, 2026 for ZN 5-2026 submitted on behalf of Southside Estates, Inc., affecting the lands described as Plan 363, Part Lot 88, RP 44R6235, Part 1, Milverton, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 17 Cobalt Street North, for information. That council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to the zoning bylaw amendment ZN 5-2026, and that council approved zoning bylaw amendment ZN 5-2026. I need a move in the seconder, moved by Hugh, second by Bob. All those in favor? carried. And the second application was for Reuben and Sarah Weber. And the motion is that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report dated May 20th, 2026 for ZN 6-2026 submitted on behalf of Reuben and Sarah Weber, affecting the lands described as East Part Lot 3, Concession 9, 44R 3497, Part 15, Mornington Ward, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 7376 Road 136 for information, and that council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment ZN 6-2026, and that council approved zoning bylaw amendment ZN 6-2026. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Jerry. All in favor? Carried. And the third public meeting, and that was to do with Keith and Marjorie Brickman. And we have a motion that the Township of Perth East Council receive the report dated May 20th, 2026 for ZN 7-2026 submitted on behalf of Marjorie and Keith Brickman, affecting the lands described as West Part, Lot 24, Concession 7, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 4942-4956, line 42 for information, and that council held a statutory public meeting pursuant to Section 34 of the Planning Act with respect to zoning bylaw amendment ZN 7-2026, and that council approved zoning bylaw amendment 7-2026. Moved by Hughes, second by Amanda. All in favor? Carried. Great. Okay. Moving on, we have no public hearings. Under planning, we have a consent application on behalf of Double Dutch Farms for lands in Ellis Ward. So Aubrey, you're taking the floor and it's yours.
Thank you, Mary Goods. Consent application B01-26 has been submitted by James Burns on behalf of Double Dutch Farms for the lands municipally known as 5251 Perth Line 44. The application is proposing to sever a surplus farm dwelling resulting from a farm consolidation. The consent application intends to sever a lot with an area of approximately 0.6 hectares or 1.5 acres, occupied with a single detached dwelling, an in-ground pool, 2 solar panels, and 2 accessory structures. The retained lands will have an area of approximately 20 hectares or just under 50 acres that are vacant. The subject lands are designated agriculture in the Perth County Official Plan and zoned agricultural under the Perth East zoning bylaw. Under the Provincial Planning Statement 2024, prime agricultural areas shall be designated and protected for long-term use. Lot creation in prime agricultural areas is only permitted in accordance with the provincial guidance for a surplus residence to an agricultural operation. The surplus residential dwelling report includes conditions requiring the rezoning of the severed lands to permit the existing single detached dwelling lot and the retained lands to require a rezoning to prohibit any new permanent residential dwellings. Planning staff are satisfied that the subject application meets the requirements of the Provincial Planning Statement and the Perth County Official Plan for the following reasons. The proposed residential lot is limited in size and minimizes the removal of prime agricultural lands. The applicant has 2 farm properties, both containing a habitable dwelling. The subject lands to be severed contain a habitable residence that is a minimum of 10 years old. There is no previous separation of the subject lands for residential purposes, and the proposed development does not negatively impact protected waterways, natural features, or biodiversity. Planning staff have included conditions to keep the application consistent with the Provincial Planning Statement and conform to the Perth County Official Plan. Public notice was provided on May 4th, 2026 with no concerns. Planning staff are supportive of the proposed severance, subject to the conditions of consent approval being fulfilled, and therefore approval of the consent is recommended. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thanks, Aubrey. Any questions from council? No questions. Okay. So we do have a motion that the Township of Perth East Council advise the Land Division Committee or its delegated authority that the Township of Perth East supports application file B08-26 submitted on behalf of Double Dutch Farms for lands described as North Part, Lot 31, Concession 8, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East, municipally known as 5251 Perth Line 44, subject to the following conditions. There are 5 conditions for Perth East, and I will give you kind of the abbreviated form. So number 1, letters provided by the clerk that the township advising the Secretary Treasurer of the Land Division Committee that all the requirements for the township financial services and otherwise have been compiled with. Number two, confirmation from the township that the appropriate apportionment schedule of municipal drains in the area to be reviewed and updated. The third condition is the amendment to the Township of Perth East implementing zoning bylaw has been adopted to zone the proposed severed lot to permit only a dwelling and accessory uses, buildings and structures, and to zone the retained lot to prohibit any new permanent residential dwellings. The fourth one, confirmation that the severed and retained lots have each been assigned separate municipal addresses and signs. And the fifth condition, confirmation be received that the road access to the severed and retained parcels are to the satisfaction of the Township of Perth East. The County of Perth has three conditions, and they are: number one, confirmation be received from a solicitor that the certificate of the official will be scanned and attached to the electronic registration of the transfer. Number two, the Land Division Committee be provided with a description that is consistent with the application and equal to that required for registration of the deed/transfer. And the third one, confirmation be received that the property owner has entered into an agreement with the County of Perth to prohibit any new permanent residential dwellings on the retained farm lot. Be a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All those in favor? Carried. Good, great, thank you. Okay, we're moving on to in reports. There's no reports from the CAO. The next report we have is from the clerk, and it's request for a variant of asset schedule. So Ashley, it's all yours.
Okay, thanks, Marigitz. So this is a request to appoint Streamline Engineering to revise the maintenance assessment schedule for the Hunter Municipal Drain, which is located just outside of Milverton, kind of in Milverton and then the outskirts of Milverton. And the last clean out that was completed there was in 1965. So the drainage report is quite old and there's been significant changes, as everyone knows, in Milverton since then. So we're just looking to have that updated, and then future maintenance work and clean out will be completed as well along that drain. And I can try to answer any questions if there's any.
Okay, any questions of the report? Jerry?
Yeah, thanks. Through you, Mayor. Thanks, Ashley. Well, we had a similar one like this last year where there was 100 letters sent out. Is this going to produce the same result where we're going to have residents call the office and talk to counselors about this $1 charge or $1 schedule? Just curious, is that what's going to happen?
Yes, there will be a significant number of residents within the Milverton ward that will receive notice. The drain that you're referring to is the Gingrich drain that was completed. That encompasses more of Milverton and the new subdivision outside of town here as well. So I'll note too, there is a development, the Reed's development is captured just outside of this Hunter drain location. So depending on the timing, it may be one bill to just that developer, or if the lot and M plan has been developed, then that could be divided out as well to those residents, just depending on the timing. But the developer will have to look at that particular portion separately and kind of at the same time as Streamline. Does that make sense? It's just a timing of when Streamline will develop this report, and then we'll also need to capture that development as well to make sure the assessment schedule in the future is correct. Hopefully I can make that more confusing.
Okay, other questions? Andrew?
Thank you, Mary. Do we anticipate this will result in a recommendation for a block assessment?
So currently it is under a block assessment.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, and we've been moving away from block assessments. They're harder to capture. If we have the rules and assessments already laid out within the report, then the calculations and the parcel size is already captured, where block assessments, staff would have to go in and use what the data was at that point in time when it first was created, and then also try to update and add in the other parcels. So essentially what we're appointing Streamline to do is what staff would have to try to do under a block assessment.
Thank you.
You?
Just a question. Is, to make any difference for the individual owner, how do you do that? Like if you include local offerings and funds individually, would it make much of a difference in what you pay or would it be the same?
So it would be the same, though historically too, we don't have too many block assessments. The latest block assessments were mainly in Shakespeare, and the township ate those costs. They didn't get billed out to the individual property owners for those drains that had the block assessment.
Okay, any other questions? If not, then we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Development Technologist and Manager of Legislative Services / Municipal Clerk dated May 20th, 2026, entitled Request for Variation of Assessment Schedule, Hunter Municipal Drain, CLE-2026-19 for information, and that further, in accordance with Section 78 of the Drainage Act, the Council of the Township of Perth East appoint the firm Streamline Engineering, Inc. to prepare a new maintenance assessment schedule for the Hunter Municipal Drain. I need a mover and a seconder for that. Moved by Amanda, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Okay, and the next one is Section 78 for the Borison Municipal Drain. Ashley?
Hey, thanks, Mary Gitz. This is a request that we received from Martin Bean, and he is looking to upsize the drain currently on his property and potentially add in catch basins. So at this point in time, we are just looking to receive the report, and then an engineer would be appointed at the July 14th council meeting after the Conservation Authority has been provided their notice. And I will try to answer any questions if there's any.
Okay, questions of the report? No? Okay, we have a motion that the Council of the Township of Perth East receive the request for repair and improvement, Section 78 of the Drainage Act by property owner Martin Bean for the Borison Municipal Drain, Lot 11, Concession 1, Ellis Ward, Township of Perth East for information, and further that in accordance with Section 78 of the Drainage Act, the appointment of an engineer will be considered at the July 14, 2026 regular meeting of council, subsequent to the notice advising of the proposed drainage works being sent to the Secretary Treasurer of the Conservation Authority that has jurisdiction over the lands in the affected area. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Jerry, second by Andrew. All in favor? Carried. And the third one is tender opening for the Schultz Municipal Drain. Ashley?
Okay, thanks, Mary Gitz. So we are looking to award this contract to Ron H. Williams Drainage. They're out of Listowel. This is the first time that the township will be working with this contractor. But our engineer that's assigned to this project has checked references and is in agreement with recommending that they be awarded the tender. And I will try to answer, or sorry, we did have the quarter revision at the last council meeting, so May 2nd, and the assessment schedule was upheld. And I will try to answer any questions if there's any.
Okay, thank you. Any questions of the report? Seeing none, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Development Technologist and Manager of Legislative Services / Municipal Clerk dated May 20th, 2026, entitled Tender Opening Schultz Municipal Drain, CLE-2026-21 for information, and that further that council award the tender for construction of the Schultz Municipal Drain 2026 to Ron H. Williams Drainage Inc. with their submission of $137,302.10 plus HST only upon satisfactory resolution to all appeals before the Court of Revision. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Amanda, second by Hugh. All in favor? Carried. Okay, thanks, Ashley. We'll now move to finance, and we have a tax sale register. So Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Agates. So before council tonight is the tax sale registration report for 2026. We started this process for properties that were nearing the 3 years in arrears. At the end of December 2025, we sent 17 notices by regular mail. And then in March 2026, we followed up with registered notices to those properties that remained. We received 4 payments from the original notice. And then now we are down to 2 properties remaining after that registered notice went out. So there is one property in Northeast Hope and another property in Mornington Ward The one in Mornington Ward, it's close to being paid off. The property owner was supposed to come in today and pay the balance. I'm hoping within the next couple days they're in and pays that off. So then we just have the one remaining. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thanks, Paula. Any questions of the report? Seeing no questions, we have a motion that Council of the Township of Perth East receive the report prepared by the Property Tax and Utility Clerk and Manager of Financial Services / Treasurer dated May 20th, 2026, entitled Tax Sale Registration for Information. Moved by Jeremy, second by Bob. All in favor? Carried. Thanks, Paula. Okay, we have no reports from Public Works, nothing from Building, nothing from Parks and Recreation, nothing from Fire. Now we're down to correspondence. We have no correspondence. Council and committee reports. You got my mayor's meeting log last meeting. Is there any council reports from any of the boards or the committees that people sit on? Jerry?
Yes, through you, Mayor, got a couple from the library board. We now have Kendra Roth, who is now on mat leave. We've got Kirsty Gerber as the acting over there for the library. And then for the OPP board, we had a meeting here last week. We've got a couple of things going. We are to head up a delegation, AMO, in regards to the road signage during the winter. Hopefully we see if we can make any changes to that. And the other thing was the annual report. I think, and Ashley can help me here, we're going to be attending an upcoming council meeting to present the annual report on the OPP.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I'll just give you a little update. Mike and I went to Toronto last Thursday, and we met with a lot of the ministers with Town of St. Mary's, City of Stratford, the county, and West Perth and North Perth, and us were there. The ministers were very receptive to our meeting with them and talking about some of the issues that I think we're all having. And it was a good day. It was a long day. We left home at 8:30 in the morning, got home at 8 o'clock at night. But it was a good day, and it was nice to be down. Matthew Ray and his staff arranged for this all to happen, and it was well received. So, anyone else? Andrew?
If I may, Mayor, can I ask a quick question about the meeting?
Sure.
Was the state of the hydro in Perth East interruptions reached at all? Was there any look into it, or
Hydro was commented on. It was brought to their attention about the lack of hydro in different areas and what's going on. So they are aware of it.
I wonder if there's any chance to get like a report from the provider, maybe not even from the province, but just, is it maintenance issues? What is it? So we can understand it better. I'm not sure if you can do that at a different meeting, but it'd be really nice to know, is it maintenance failures? Is it tree branches need trimming? There's got to be a reason why. It's probably out 5 times in my neck of the woods in a week, right? So I don't know whether we can have a little more information. Is it possible, do you think, from the meeting? Did they sound like they even had that information, or was it just brought up?
We really didn't discuss that part of it. We just said that we need more infrastructure, and I think it's more with the infrastructure. Some places need phase 3 that they don't have. It was the county that led it. It was Perth South that brought it up at the first time, and it was more about phase 3 and that. But I hear what you're saying. I'm not sure, like, one time it could be someone hitting a hydro pole, next time it could be a branch falling down, next time it could be light loose wire. It's unfortunate it's happening. I'm not sure how you can really pinpoint or prevent it. You can prevent it to a certain extent. It's still going to happen. Infrastructure is getting older. That's part of it too. It's a combination of a lot of things why the hydro goes out.
Yeah, I used to know the line superintendent, and I made a few calls once, and it was just like an insulator went right. But it's literally happening in Shakespeare area 5 times. I know a lot of the farming businesses have generators which should click on right away, but it's still gonna make reset, possibly like robot milking, all that type of really sensitive stuff. You talk about 3-phase, well, a furnace is 2-phase, right? Two phases. It's not quite the same as 3-phase, but if you knock out one leg and the other one's going, it can actually damage your equipment, like your furnace, your air conditioner. So it's getting to a point where I believe it's almost worth a letter to somebody to say, hey, what's going on? What's your plan to fix it?
We can ask. I'm not sure we'll get a lot of answers from Heidel, but we can ask. Comment on that?
Yeah, Counselor, I don't think it's inappropriate that, I do hear the same thing in Wilburton too, in terms of the frequent outages. And, I think the direction from council, we could write the letter and ask for some feedback. I think the overall comments that we got, when we went were about the same challenges that many of us are facing from a municipal standpoint. They're struggling to keep up with replacing their aging infrastructure, and that does have an implication. But I agree with you. I do think it's become a topic and something that's the frequency is very disruptive, not just from a residential standpoint, but local businesses as well. So,
I'm willing to move that if, unless we want to do it at another meeting on their notice of motion or something, that we direct staff. See how it goes, if everybody else wants to get some more info. I'm willing to move that, or that's up to you, Mayor Agates, if you want to move it to
Nope,
new
that's-
business, or
That's fine if you want to move a motion.
Yep.
How do you want it worded?
I think Mike's writing it down right now.
Yeah, I
Sounds like he's getting phone calls too. so.
Yeah, direct staff to prepare a letter to the Ministry of Energy. Better understand why increased frequency outages in the area are taking place, something along those lines. Sorry, I'm not.
Okay,
being
thank you,
specific, but
that'll-
Is that
Yeah,
reasonable?
something.
Okay.
Okay, and do we have a seconder? Hugh? Any questions, comments? On that? Nope. Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, we're good. And then we just need a motion to accept the verbal updates. Moved by Hugh, second by Bob, all in favor? Carried. Okay, then we're down to bylaws. And we have first, second, third, and final readings. We have 6 bylaws. We have bylaw 205-2026, and it's a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, and that was item 7.1.1 tonight. The second one is 206-2026, and it's to amend bylaw 30-1999, and that was item 7.1.2 tonight. Then we have bylaw 207-2026, and it's a bylaw to amend bylaw 30-1999, and that was 7.1.3. Then we have bylaw 109-2026, a bylaw to collect for final maintenance Gerhalber Municipal Drain, that was in North Perth. The fifth one is bylaw 110-2026, a bylaw to collect the final maintenance, and that's for the Peffer Municipal Drain in North Perth. And the last one is bylaw 111-2026, a bylaw to collect for final maintenance, and that's consolidated. So we need a mover and a seconder for those bylaws, first, second, third, and final readings. Moved by Jerry, second by Jeremy, all in favor, carried. Do we have any notice of motions? Any other business? Any announcements? We have no closed session, so we're down to confirmatory bylaw. So the motion that bylaw 27-2026, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Perth East at its regular meeting held on May 20th, 2026, be read a first, second, and third time. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda, all in favor, carried. And the final motion of the night is that the meeting be adjourned at 7:45 p.m. Moved by Hugh, second by Amanda, all in favor, carried. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your night.